Welcome to Humanity Unboxed with me, Michelle Cheen, and Michael Magruts. We throwing things on its head a bit today. It's Pluto has entered Aquarius, and therefore we won't follow the rules anymore.
Yeah,
Michael, yeah, I'm glad
we
to.
never follow I think we never follow the rules.
No,
You
no,
know,
no.
uh,
Rules, as Rick Rubin said so beautifully, rules are there to create average behavior, and we're not looking for average behavior.
no, you're looking for one of one, not better. I don't want to be better than you, or you want to be better than me. We're
No.
looking for our one of oneness to unveil the uniqueness that nature made us, because we believe from our life, from our long lives, right? We
Yeah.
believe we have learned that nature made us one of one,
Mm.
and our life is to unveil that one of oneness in whatever happens, and everything that happens is actually all predetermined. It's like it happens, and how you handle it is a lesson, you know.
And there's a big paradox in that, because this is exactly what we're talking about this month is freedom. And
Yeah,
the title for today is Living on the Edge of Freedom, Navigating Choice and Constraints. So
yeah,
often we feel or think that things aren't going our way because we have this way that we think is the way.
yeah.
And
The general way we
yeah,
think a white woman, a white man, a black man, a Asian person needs to do this and that, and
yeah.
it's not. Or a or American person, European person, Italian person needs to be that. And those are just patterns. We don't have to enjoy. We don't. If I don't identify with the outfit that traditional Austrian people have with the lederhosen and all that stuff,
Yeah.
why do I have to embrace that? I
But
I I embrace it as the culture,
mm,
as the culture. I'm respecting it as the culture, but I don't have to engage in this. You know
because it's not necessarily your identity.
exactly. Yeah.
And a lot of people embrace it as an identity. But I want to go a step further, even as to what we think our lives should look like. We often talk about disruption. There's disruptions. There's been a lot of disruptions lately in
Mm.
how we think things should have worked out or should have been. And often these are the spaces that unlock different options or things
Could
we couldn't
could
have thought
could
about.
unlock. I'm
Yeah.
not very much in that for that systemic definition of disruption,
Mm.
because disruption has nothing positive. Disruption has nothing
Oh,
positive.
I don't think I agree with you.
No, that's okay. No, no, no. I don't think
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a bad word.
Mm.
I'm saying when you get okay, so let's say I'm inventing a new iPhone or a new phone in general.
Mm.
There's no iPhones, there's no cell phone. I create a new phone. Am I disrupting the phone market? No, I don't. I'm growing the phone market. The phone market from a landline, became portable, became a mobile phone, and I think that's actually a positive, very positive, a development. It's like you don't know, you grow up in school, you don't know what you are, and somehow school leads you, which it doesn't, but sometimes it does,
Mm.
leads you to your passion. You don't even know your passion.
Mm.
You have no passion. So that's a development, a
Mm.
growth versus a competition. I'm disrupting you because I said, oh, we can grow. Because, for example, right now, what we had
Mm.
was a growth. We couldn't get on. We had a
Yeah.
new program, and that was a growth. That wasn't a disruption. That was a growth.
But it depends on which lenses you're using. So if I'm looking at it from the landline, say British Telecoms, the BT
Yeah.
lens, then suddenly new iPhones or the fact that some people choose not to have landlines in their homes anymore is a disruption to my function.
This is so good. I love you.
Yeah.
This is so. This is so good. I love you. Okay, it's a disruption when
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 I
you
have a
Uber.
path
No,
that
when
I'm
you
looking
Uber
after
as
myself.
when you're not growing in the, not in being in the moment, when you rely and say, British Telecom, we don't need to do anything. And
Yeah.
then it grows, and then it disrupts you because it happens, it happens, and you haven't looked at it. Instead of you adapting to what the changes are, the collective consciousness, what the people want. We so it's only the things that are hubris that that rely on their laurels. They lay in bed with their laurels and wait till some disruptor comes, and they're not waiting even.
Yeah.
They're just saying, how can we protect the market? Which, see, it's growth. It's about human centric growth of the one of oneness. And when you do a system, for example, you take care of horses for the tribe, you can't, and there was no saddles, let's say, and then somebody has a saddle, then you better get in touch with the saddle maker.
But first it creates a disruption. See, I love disruption. I love disruptors because it initially it might feel that it's negative, but it's most likely most of the time positive because it creates a different field of options. It creates something
It
new.
forces a change.
Yeah,
And why you like it, I know exactly why you like it, is it forces awareness.
exactly.
It forces
Exactly.
awareness, but it is not the most elegant thing. The most elegant way is, or more elegant, is it, for example, like you and me said, hey, I don't agree. And I was like, hey, why you don't agree with me? You know what I
But
mean?
in this process, even we are disrupting each other's train of thought.
Yeah, I hate that word disruption because it's like, it's not, nothing disrupts in nature.
But why? What does disruption mean to you? Why do you have a negative connotation to it?
Because I think it's not, it's system relevant, and it's a system
That's
relevant.
your perception though of it, right? It's not
Absolutely,
necessarily.
absolutely. I'm nothing against to say,
Mm,
but yes, it is. But it's a system. It's like, love was a great word, but now love is so abused.
mm.
Um, and
Freedom,
actually,
same thing.
freedom,
Yeah,
love God.
yeah.
These are words that systemically get abused. And what I think is like, we talked about this before. So the financial principles that say it's never enough no matter what
Hmm.
forces us to scale. And then comes a pivot point where, when you can't scale anymore, you have to save costs.
Yeah.
When you save costs, you lose the vision and the noble intent of the system.
Hmm.
So the noble intent of taking care of horses. Yeah, I have all the horses now in the tribe,
Mm,
but since I have to, it's never enough. I have to, I can't grow anymore. I have all the horses in the tribe
mm,
or in the nation or whatever. And
mm.
then what is the only alternative to growing is saving costs, because it grows the profit. And when it's saving costs, guess who gets the less? The horses get the bad food, the bad treatment. So that is so interesting. And I love that we have now the circle, how it works.
Yeah.
And that's how it works.
Mm,
And all systems, and this is what Elon, they want to do it from top down. It doesn't work from top down. It needs to come from bottom up to awareness. But what Elon
and
wants
this
to,
is the beauty of this Pluto moving into Aquarius because it is that the people, as
yeah,
individuals, as one of ones
awareness,
in the
yeah,
group. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And when you do it from top down, you just say, oh, Michelle, your company has 10 people to work for those, to tend to those horses.
Mm,
I know in Afghanistan, 2 people do 10 times more horses. So
mm,
I'm going to force you to that. I guess, well, again, the horses suffer, not you. I mean, you suffer too, but the horses. And that's not to make it more, that's systemically make it more profitable, because there's people that do something in a different way and they're more productive. I'm just looking at again, the money issue. I'm not looking at where's the value. I said, okay, 3 people can do the same job that 20 people do. So now I'm going to force you to adapt to the 3 people. That's not it. That's not it.
But even if we bring it back to a more human-centered way or human-centric way,
Yeah.
then for us, it's easy for us to go into autopilot, to go into, okay, this is, how I do my thing. Disruption, and I'll look for a different word because I think we are looking at it from different perspectives, and disruption is the issue for you as a word, not as a concept. For me, Elon Musk is a disruptor. Donald Trump is these are
Yeah.
big disruptors. They're throwing our
But are they
thinking on the
disrupting
side.
versus are they standing for their perception? Are you? I mean, look at me. You and I have We have total different than other people uh, because we are all both under 101. Is
Hmm.
so? Are we disrupting, or are we? See, our doesn't disrupt anything. Our our spiel that we feel in, right, is
Yeah.
it's a 101ness. We are all right. There's no wrong.
Hmm.
There's no right. You're all right, and you should supposed to be what you do, and you are valuable because you're here.
Hmm.
That's not a disruption. I'm sorry. If you see the disruption in that, I don't see disruption.
Yeah.
I see
And,
growth
and,
in
and
this
that's
and
interesting.
awareness.
But there can only be growth if there is disruption. And disruption for me is
In
creating that
systems.
moment. No, in humans. To keep us from
But it's not in the
falling
moment.
into a system.
I'm
Because
giving you
yeah.
100% right because that's always my first thing. I make you 100% right. Not that you like me, but I make you 100% right because you I don't see it as disruption. You make me grow in your perspective. So, for example, my uh, consciousness of disruption of that word has changed from a word to the function.
Mm,
As so I've grown in our talk right now, and this is good for
yeah.
listeners to see uh, because I didn't fight you and say no, it's a shitty word. Don't use disruption. Yeah, I could have
Yeah.
said that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I I just said I don't like it. I personally don't like the word,
Mm,
uh, and I really look at the word differently now because you have disrupted me, the function.
mm,
Because of the function, you have disrupted me in my perception of disruption,
yeah.
and that has made me grown and clarified the thing. And that's where wisdom is when you dive deep.
Yeah. So now, but see, I'm interested. I'm interested in what, because I see disruption in my way. I see
Yeah,
disruption as rule breaking, as non-linear thinking, as human centric, as all of those things are what disruption means to me. So now I obviously need to go and have a look at what is the etymology, where does it come from?
yeah. Perhaps
Um,
it is. I think it's wrong because it's reverse engineered. It's not from the function up. It's reversed down. And disruption is a powerful word. It's like fighting. I mean, fighting. We don't fight. Humans
no,
in
no,
general. No, no. And
yeah,
humans don't usually fight. In extreme situation, they fight, but they're not like, oh, we all need to fight. But look at how we implemented that word, that very limited word,
mm.
into our society. You got to fight the market. You got to do this. You got to do that. It's just insane.
And yet, is that really what it means, or is that what we made it to mean? You come from
Yeah.
a different
Yes. But we
culture.
made it to mean we
Yeah,
made it gay, right? Gay
yeah.
was
Gay
not.
is happy.
Not it was happy. No, it was
Yeah,
happy, joyous, whatever. Now, gay. You can't even say. Nobody understands what gay means if you don't. Our age and haven't seen movies and old movies and stuff.
yeah.
So
But
it's
and
what we
that's
made.
why it's interesting to go back as to where did this word come from and how did we assign meaning to it?
Yeah,
Because it's different, um, as we can
I
see
think
between
it's
you and me.
designing. I think it's
Yeah.
designed. It's designed because it's a tough word. Let's just call it disruption. And often it's very clear. It actually sometimes the word gets clarified, where actually before it didn't mean that, but now it means actually the right thing. I think gay was dirtied. I'm sorry, because
Mhm.
gay was a thing. and you couldn't say homosexual, you couldn't say whatever. I mean, why do you have to define it? Why do you have to, whatever the sexual preference are, why do you have to verbalize it and define it and stamp it off?
Because that's the only way that we can meet in the middle, that we can find a way to see it through each other's eyes, if we can find a common ground. So
Yeah.
if I can bring us back to a place where we can find agreement on the meaning of the word, then we can go further and um, kind of clarify, or what's the other word that I'm looking for? Kind of find what it makes us feel. Because a lot of what it makes us feel or how we see it comes from outside and not necessarily from a starting point.
Yeah, and then we come back to our halftime, what we talked about, right?
Mm.
Knowledge, like perhaps gay was 50 years,
Yeah,
and now the fact of what gay is, the fact, as soon as it becomes a fact, it changes. The fact loses. It's like life. Like it comes in, you're like a baby, you get old and you disappear. You come and disappear. And
yeah.
perhaps the half-life of facts, that when they get to be facts,
Mm.
they lose. They lose, like, Newtonian physics change to quantum physics, change to quantum mechanics, and
And in
stuff with
each of
AI.
those, we kind of
And,
prove
and
something
we
different.
grow, and
Yeah,
we
it
grow,
grows.
and
Yeah,
it's not, oh my God, quantum Newtonian physics was horrible. No,
no, yeah,
it's not hard. It's just a new layer of awareness, a deeper layer of awareness with quantum physics and quantum mechanics, in more. So it's always, and please, anybody that listens, you don't have to understand these words. I'm just saying quantum physics is physics, and then Einstein came and the quantum theory, and he thought it was all that. All
yeah,
these people, Newton probably never thought it will be outdated. And Einstein never thought it will be outdated. And it got outdated,
yeah.
not outdated, refined, because we still have Newtonian physics. I
Yes,
don't
but
think,
a lot of it's been shown to be not as we thought it was. So,
yes,
th
yes.
so and that's where the disruption comes in for me. If we get so fixated on this is the right way, something has to happen that feels uncomfortable.
So the positive thing of disruption is, you have to do this till you can't do this anymore, and boom, it's like something
Yeah,
comes and you can't do this anymore. Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's very, very interesting. And it's like, so I thought it was so, and I think if I wrangle all these things together,
Mm,
is we have to be honest to each other and admit we don't know anything. We probably know 1% of. See, I
if
always say,
anything,
hey, I don't, and it takes all the pressure away. I don't know anything. I'm not right. I'm not. I'm just telling you my perspective.
at
And if
this
we do,
time.
and at this time,
Mm,
as a 101, and that's why this is so powerful.
mm,
Because when you take the stress, the systematic stress, your image, you force your image in. Oh, I have to be a blonde. I have to be this. I have to be that. I have to have a Range Rover. I have to have a sports car. I have to have a dog. I have to have this. No,
mm.
if you don't like a dog, if you like a sports car, if you like this, you like what you like. And
Yeah,
why is that not okay? I think that's so much interesting. It makes people so much more interesting, because I remember when I was young, humans were, they were very, there was no big consciousness then,
mm,
and we were very simple, right? Woman went to sing and man went to that. But because it was so rough, it was so rough, like women go take care of the kids and they work, and man, there was nothing to define their expression of image. So
mm.
their image was the function. Like the men worked, bring home the money. That was the driving factor of men. So they had the freedom. They had no money, but if they had money, they had the freedom to express themselves. I feel that women, for example, were so much more interesting in the old times, because they literally look totally different in their appearance. I'm not saying women's are bad. I'm just saying they weren't trying to be like everybody else. They were like their own style because they didn't need to worry because it wasn't important to be a social media star that you looked like Kim Kardashian. That wasn't important. You
Yeah.
just were you. You
Yeah.
just were you. And I found, I mean, they were so I just remember when I was like till 18, 20,
Mm.
I looked at women and I said, oh my God, look at this. And so interesting because it's not that I'm in love with them or anything,
Mm.
but it is because they were interesting. They had their own one of oneness. They showed their own one of oneness more because it wasn't about how they look. It wasn't about the systemic, you know, we always say the form. The system always says the form is important. It wasn't. It was she had her, she had mattered. She had
Mm.
her job as being a mother. And I'm not saying that she should have, but she had that. She chose that. And her personality was unique. Perhaps it was because of that, because it was so defined what you should be. So the only way to express themselves was, you know, have a unique look, have a unique
Well, this is, yeah, and this is
appearance.
exactly what I was thinking now, because it's, the title today is kind of, it's between choice and constraint. So, did they choose that role specifically, or was it set there? But within that role, there was safety as to, okay, I know what is expected, and therefore I can break free where I want to. So I have
We
the
always do that.
choice
I
to,
mean, we do. We
yeah.
always do that. I mean,
Mm.
when you go, for example, food for the longest time was where people went and lived their soul out. They either ate
Mm.
crazy or they ate special or whatever.
Mm.
And now it is systemized food. And so it says, oh, you shouldn't eat this, you shouldn't do that. And it's 15,000 diets. So you
Mm.
can't even enjoy the food that was the last batch. I feel that was the last batch where you actually, you could eat what you want and you enjoyed it and it made you happy. And there was no limit to that. And now after COVID, you don't even have all the restaurants closed. So many restaurants closed
Mm.
because the people don't want to sit anymore in this archetypal sharing food with
Mm.
other humans. It's so human centric that ritual of collective eating and sitting by the
Yeah.
campfire, my
Yeah.
club,
Yeah.
that, we make everything systemic and we have to make it human centric first. We
Yeah.
have to make it human centric first and then create systems that are living systems that are currently, and they're constantly updated. And they're always outdated, but they will be constantly updated and say, oh, what can we do better? And that would give so much joy to us because we could all be creative, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Having a lifting system, what can I contribute to update that system? What I can I oh, there's hairstyle, coiffeurs and whatever. I can be a part of that because I'm a hairdresser and I can do this, and that would be awesome. That, but if systems are saying no, you have to do it this way.
Mm.
You cannot make the system alive. You cannot make it better, and you cannot update it. Like it's in education,
Mm.
it's a hogging of uh, uh, all outdated facts and relevance. It's the hog. I mean, education hogs the thing, and
Yeah.
now now it's hopefully all opening up, and we are not
Well, I think
political.
it is, and we're part of that opening up. But I also think
Yeah.
it's important for us to realize that systems are always going to be empty shells, and whatever humans are in there need to separate themselves from the
Yeah.
system into, not being a part of that,
Of the system not
but
being. Yeah.
yeah, not being the system. They
Yeah.
need to be human centric. They need to see their own one of oneness so that they can bring that into the system, and that's what makes the system alive. The system can't be living on its own. It is
Oh,
dependent on
without
humans.
humans,
Yeah.
systems are irrelevant. We said
Yeah.
that over and over. But humans, if there's no system, a lot of people will be hurt. If there's no systems tomorrow, but we can rebuild systems again. And this also, in that fact, when you get aware of that, you don't put yourself down and say, "Oh, it's just the system said, that's it. Let's just accept it and die." It's just no.
Yeah,
It's the system without humans is irrelevant. Every system, there's no man-made system that is relevant without humans, because it's a human
because no
creation.
systems are relevant. The
Yeah,
humans create the relevance.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly,
um,
and that's why I think it's so. Um, the awareness. That's why we need to make people aware. The humans aware, not the systems. The humans aware,
yeah,
and how what we actually castrating and neutering us by actually all be one. Like I think Gary Vee even said that. When do you stop trying to be somebody else?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And he bases his whole brand on that, exactly
yeah,
that, as to
yeah. The
who
one on
are
one.
you? It's
Yeah,
not about following the system or being
yeah,
systemic. It is about standing out and connecting to your audience, because that's where
yeah,
your gold lies, is in the connection, not in the audience. The audience is also a systemic concept,
yeah,
but the people that are in that audience are each one unique.
yeah. And
Yeah,
you only need two or three. You don't need thousands. Thousands is a blinding of yourself. Uh, and what we actually bring in, like you and I, we every week we bring in. We don't know what we say. We don't know what comes out. But
yeah.
the discipline of coming every week
Mm.
and facing whatever we face, instead of saying, "Oh, it didn't work today. Let's not go online."
Yeah.
No, you know,
Yeah, we
we
make a plan.
face, we handle what is in a moment. I call you and say, "Hey, let's do it."
Yeah. Yeah.
And we
But I
did
think
it.
we're also moving into this time. I think it's very exciting. It's quite daunting. I'm having an interesting week. Astrologically, there's a lot of stuff happening. Pluto, Aquarius, Uranus, who's the disruptor.
Yeah.
So we'll have to chat to Uranus about this. And it's my birthday on Sunday. So it's kind of all this
And it's
rebirth.
Mercury retrograde too.
Soon. It's coming next week, I
No,
think.
we are in Mercury
Oh,
retrograde.
okay. Okay, yeah. So I mean it's all these aspects that are kind of part of this
Disrupting us. All the aspects.
disrupting us.
Exactly.
Exactly.
See?
Yeah, in a good way, but
Yeah.
it has an uncomfortable bit to it, because we learn to be aware and look at what's actually happening
Yeah.
instead of just our reaction to it. I don't know if you've seen this. I've watched this thing so many times because I think it is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and it was the Maori um, member of parliament, the lady from the Green Party.
Yes, I saw that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was
So
that
human. It
if we're
was
moving towards,
purely human. It was
yeah.
purely human.
And for those who haven't seen it, it's I think her name is Chloe Swarbrick. She's from the Green Party, and she delivered this beautiful speech um, against being forced into voting for a systemic pushing down of the Maori people, and
Yeah.
a treaty that was made hundreds of years ago. And then a different member of parliament started with the haka, which has got a beautiful story and history to it. It's a poem of life and death really, and it's just it blew my heart right open. And and those are the people. They weren't saying us against them. They were talking about us all together with this planet that we live in.
Yeah. What are we
That's
doing?
where
That's
we're
what you and
going to.
I are doing. We
Yeah,
do the same thing. We always say, "What are we doing?" We're not saying, "Oh, this is a bad person." No, this is a bad person. That's a bad politics.
yeah.
This is that. No, we say, "What are we doing? Where's the education?" I mean, you have a lot of stuff with education. I have a lot of stuff with education. Said, what are we doing? What's the function of education today in this world? And
Yeah.
that's important. It's what's the function? To update the system, to bring the
Or
system into a living.
to connect with the people in that system. I finally feel like I'm making a little bit of a
Yeah.
breakthrough, because I'm being heard,
Mhm.
because I'm not getting worked up. I mean, I took
That's
a
what I'm
couple of
saying.
hours to
You
kind of
are, at
calm.
least they're listening to you. But
Yeah,
that's what I wrote you. I said,
yeah.
at least they're listening to you.
Mm,
And this is showing, confirming for you,
mm,
when we talk to each other, we clarify our perception, and all of a sudden, I might have saying, "Oh, I'm doing great." Like you would, I would think, "Hey, I'm doing a great thing. Look at all my kids are happy. I'm great at teaching." And you come to say something to me that makes me aware that I'm not, because I'm not saying teachers don't like that. They love their jobs, but they
mm,
can't execute the jobs human centrically. They
mm,
have to just systemically put kids, little kids, in a box, and
mm.
they lose every sense of self with a capital S.
Yeah. And
So
in
when
the
you,
process, those teachers lose their passion for what they
exactly,
intend to do in that system
yeah,
as
it becomes an income, so a cash flow for them.
yeah, which isn't a big enough cash flow
Anyway, no,
source in any
that's the
place,
whole thing.
Yeah.
But they think they're so unworthy. This
Mm,
is what systems work actually, and I wrote that in the housing thing.
mm,
They are all primarily women
mm,
because they are the nicest. They're not freaking out with the pressure. That can actually stand against the pressure from top and the pressure from the bottom.
mm,
So they try to execute, and they actually want to survive, and they are afraid of. Uh, this is what system, outdated system could become. They had a
mm,
noble course with taking care of horses, but because less and less and less, all the horses died, and now they want to keep that system alive, that they have a cash flow and they have an income, and
yeah,
therefore it defeats the financial principle. I told you that is a flawed. There's no opposite. Enough is
yeah,
not available. It's ever not enough, or save more expenditures to low till you hit the human tolerance where it's not be tolerated anymore. Mhm.
yeah. Michael, I don't have any clue as to how long we've done this, but I think we are over time
No,
because
it's very no. It's
there's
actually I think it's very very good. I think
mm,
I have to listen to this again because nothing I didn't know that before. So
yes,
this
yes.
this came in, and it's really beautiful wisdom
I think
again.
so too. I think so too. I think I think we need to have more of these conversations in more places. It's just for us to,
That's what we're seeding. That's what
yeah.
we're seeding. That's our job. We're seeding that. Yeah.
Exactly. So I will see you again next week. We don't know on
Yes.
which
Perfect.
platform or where, but
Perfect. Yeah.
we will be there. So our
Yeah.
system has been disrupted
Yeah.
but not our core, not our
Yeah.
message.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you as always.
Perfect. Thank you.